Whenever you're building a comp, one of the things that you might find yourself running into time and time again is something that has an alpha channel on it. Now, at first, an alpha channel doesn't really tell you what it is. It's simply an extra channel that provides transparency information on some graphics. Typically, you'll find this in either the Photoshop.psd file format or the .png file format, and maybe a 32-bit TIFF, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where you can find some PNG files that you could play around with. So I'm going to hop over to my web browser, Google Chrome, and I went to burningwell.org, the place we go to all the time, and I did a search for .png. As you can see here, here's a couple of files, and you may have seen me elsewhere in the course working with the rhinoceros or the goat. But there's also a flower here, and all you have to do, of course, is click on one of these guys, and then drag it to your desktop or whatever you need to. So what I'm going to do is hop back over to After Effects because I already have one of these guys, as you know, on my desktop. So let me go ahead and import one of them to my desktop here, and I'll grab the goat or the rhino, either one's fine, and I'll drag this to the workspace here. And you'll notice that the rhino does not cover anything behind it because it does have that transparency. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'll create a solid. And I'm going to give this solid a very bright color, just so you can see this more clearly. I'll make a comp size, and I'll drag the rhino on top of this magenta solid, so you can see that. So no matter what we do, we're going to be able to see behind this rhino. So that's all well and good, but how do you make an alpha channel? Well, my friends, that's what I'm here for. So I'm going to show you how to create one in Photoshop. Now, the easiest way I find is to start with a transparent background image. To do so, go to File, New, and where you see background content, make sure that it doesn't say background color, which would be this swatch back here, or white. Choose transparent. And the size of your document, of course, should match something that you would bring into After Effects, typically something that is in the realm of pixels. So like 640 pixels by 480 as an example. That's a very small file. I'm just giving you an example of how to create this. So I'm going to go ahead and just create anything at all. So I'll grab my brush and I'll go ahead and increase the size of this brush here. Choose a color, and I will paint a stick figure. And that's probably the most award-winning stick figure of all time. I'm just waiting for the prizes to come. Look at that. Wow. All right, so I'm going to crop this down as well. Press C on my keyboard to get the crop tool and just resize this guy a little bit so it's a little smaller. And now I'm going to just save this in a format that After Effects will understand and respect this transparent background. Don't forget, guys, this checkerboard does not print. This is your visual indicator that there's nothing back there. So I'm going to go to File, choose Save. And on my desktop, I'm going to go ahead and, let's say, choose the PNG file format, which I use quite a bit. Let's go ahead and call this stickman.png. Hit Save. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave this at the default. I'm also going to save another version. I'll choose Save As. This time I'll make it a Photoshop file. So I'll just call it SM to save some time for Stickman. All right, we'll go ahead and save that. Now, typically in a 3D application, let's say, for example, Lightwave, I save my files out as TIFF in the 32-bit format because that will retain the transparency. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a brand new comp. Let's go ahead and close all this, guys. And let's go ahead and create a new comp here. And I'm going to have mine as NTSCD1, which you can find from this drop-down list right there. Choose any size you like, of course, but I'm just experimenting. And I'm going to go ahead and import those files on my desktop. So we have this guy here, which is a PSD, our TIFF, and our PNG. So I'm just going to drag across all of them to bring them at the same time. And let's go ahead and take a look and see what happens. We'll just drag him right here. And yes, he has the transparency.